Hi, I'm Benjamin Bell of This Week with George Stephanopoulos, and I'm joined today by Bill Kristol of the Weekly Standard. Thanks, Bill, for joining us this morning.
Happy to be here again.
And because we believe all politics is social at This Week, of course, we're going to put some of the questions that you submitted on Facebook to Bill. So the first question comes from Leslie Jenkins, and she says, what is wrong with being a moderate Republican? I've been a Reagan Republican all my life, but I'm looking for an alternative in the face of a party that does not want to accept moderate views.
I don't think that's right. I think most, look, a party is a bunch of politicians. So if the questioner has some Republican she likes better than others, or she likes Chris Christie or Scott Walker or Pete King or someone, she should support him. The party is shaped by who wins the primaries. And there are a lot of conservatives in the country. I'm one of them who are happy to have a pretty strongly conservative party, but there are plenty of moderate Republicans. Mitt Romney won the nomination in 2012. He wasn't the most conservative guy in the field. John McCain won in 2008. He wasn't the most conservative guy in the field. So don't give up hope.
The next question comes from Sharon Delvecchio Luba, and she asks, what does he think is the most important thing that the GOP needs to do to get its act together, maybe a better candidate in 2016?
Candidates matter in politics, and I don't think Mitt Romney's a fine man, but was not a good presidential candidate. I'd say two things: a good candidate, proven record of accomplishment, either a more than one-term governor, excuse me, or a senator or a congressman who's really shown legislative leadership. And secondly, I would say a positive conservative reform agenda. You do need to explain to people how you have an agenda that will help solve the problems they care about. It can't just be opposing the president's agenda and Obamacare and so forth. I'm happy to oppose those.
The next question comes from Bill Borkwin, and he asks, who will be the Republican nominee in 2016?
I could be a very rich man if I knew the answer to that. You could. It's hard to predict. Republicans typically nominate the next in line, the Dole, the McCain, the Romney. I can't believe that will happen again. I do think the party, post-Tea Party, post-President Obama, who upset the next in line in 2008, Hillary Clinton, post those two events, I've got to think there's more of an appetite in the Republican Party for a younger candidate. I think there'll be a very big fight for the nomination, and I think that's good. I think that's good. For too long, the Republicans have tried to kind of clear the field. The establishment's kind of mobilized behind one or two candidates, and then they end up with a candidate who turns out not to be a great general election candidate. So let Christie and Walker and Cruz and Rand Paul and Paul Ryan and many others, Bobby Jindal, fight it out, and let's see who wins.
The next question comes from L.T. Atkinson, and she says, does he have a better pick than Sarah Palin this time? But so what do to that viewer's question, what do you think about Sarah Palin's post-2008 career? Has she sort of stuck to the track you thought she would? Has she disappointed you? Because you were a big supporter of hers initially, right?
I was for taking the gamble of putting her on the ticket. I don't think it hurt the ticket in 2008. I think, in fact, the best 2 weeks of the McCain campaign against Obama in 2008 were the 2 weeks after he picked Sarah Palin. Then she had a little bit of a rough patch. She was mishandled, I think, by the McCain people. I think her stepping down as governor of Alaska was a big problem. People don't like to see a candidate, a governor, or an executive, absent some medical reason or whatever, just leave office early. And she had been a good governor, incidentally, of Alaska until then. So that, I think, is something she has to recover from in terms of being a serious leader in the party. She still has a lot of loyalty. She can still shape the debate. She has a great political touch. I think the way Palin would possibly resurrect herself, if that's the right word, or rehabilitate herself, I guess is a better way of putting it, run for Senate in Alaska in 2014. I'm not urging that. I'm just saying if I were her advisor, I would say take on the incumbent. You have to win a primary, then you have to beat an incumbent Democrat. It's not easy. But if she did that, suddenly, if she could imagine that, Sarah Palin, freshman senator, January 2015 in Washington, having beaten an incumbent, that would be pretty interesting.
And for the final viewer question comes from Karen Webster, and she says, I wonder what he thinks about what the GOP has managed to accomplish, in quotes, so quickly in North Carolina. I think she's referring to the tough voting law that sort of restricts, that cuts down early voting time by 1 week, eliminates same-day voter registration. What is going on there?
I mean, I support most of those efforts. I'm not a big fan of a lot of early voting. I think it's better to have the election as much as you can on one day. Obviously, you have to make provision for absentee votes and people who are traveling and all that. I don't think it's unreasonable to ask people to show an ID. I don't think it's unreasonable. I think same-day registration is an invitation to fraud and abuse. I mean, the media goes around. They don't even know what happened in North Carolina. It just sounded like a lot of right-wing stuff. Let's go through the school choice agenda in North Carolina, restricting abortion after 5 months to cases of medical necessity. I think an awful lot of Americans would support that agenda. I think if Republicans can go into 2016 defending the agendas they've passed in various states, where the citizens of those states seem pretty happy, incidentally, with most of those Republican governors, I think they'll be in pretty good shape.
Okay, and so now on to our lightning round. Donald Trump isn't ruling out a run for the White House. What type of president would he be?
I don't think he'd be a particularly good one, and I don't think he's going to be one.
The Washington Post sale, good or bad for journalism?
Can't tell. Good, I think, if there's more capital available and if Jeff Bezos is serious about making it making it easier for the Post to be really a first-rate paper.
True or false? Immigration reform with a path to citizenship will pass the House this year.
I think false.
Well, Bill, thanks for sticking around to answer viewer questions. And thank you to everyone who submitted their questions. You can follow the show on Twitter at ThisWeekABC and follow the show on Facebook at facebook.com/ThisWeekABC.